Look at your life right now. Not the version you post, the real one. The job, the body, the bank account, the people around you, the discipline you swear you'll start on Monday. All of it is sitting at exactly the level you've agreed to accept. Nobody forced that on you. You negotiated it. Quietly, over years. And in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to show you the exact moment you signed that contract. Why your brain fights to keep it. And how to tear it up for good. Because here's the truth nobody says out loud. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your standards. Your goals are what you talk about at 11 p.m. when you're fired up. Your standards are what you actually enforce at 6 a.m. when you're exhausted and no one's watching. The gap between those two things isn't a small thing. So let's name the real enemy, because you've been blaming the wrong one. You think the problem is that you're lazy. You're not. If you were truly lazy, you wouldn't feel this frustration, this itch, this sense that you're capable of more. Lazy people are at peace. You're not at peace. You're stuck. And stuck is different from lazy. The problem is tolerance. Somewhere along the way, you decided what good enough looks like. Good enough sleep. Good enough effort. Good enough friendships that go absolutely nowhere. Good enough is the most dangerous phrase in your vocabulary because it doesn't feel like failure. It feels like peace. It feels reasonable. And that's exactly why it's killing you slowly. Your brain protects good enough like its life depends on it. Because to your nervous system, comfort feels like safety and change feels like threat. But comfort is not safety. Comfort is just the slow, quiet version of losing. It's losing with the volume turned down so low you can pretend you don't hear it. Let me show you when you signed the contract, because it wasn't one big moment. That's the trap. You keep waiting for one dramatic decision that ruined everything, and there isn't one. It was 1,000 tiny yeses to less than you deserve. The first time you hit snooze and told yourself it didn't matter. The first time someone disrespected you and you let it slide to keep the peace. The first time you said, "I'll start next week." Each one felt small. Each one felt forgivable. But your brain was watching. And every time you let something slide, you taught it a lesson. Our word doesn't mean anything. We say things, and then we don't do them. That's the real damage. It was never about the one workout you skipped. It's about what skipping trained you to believe about yourself. You slowly became a person who negotiates with their own standards. And a person who negotiates with their standards has no standards. So here's the shift that changes everything. And I need you to actually hear this instead of nodding along. Stop trying to raise your motivation. Motivation is a mood, and moods lie to you. Motivation shows up loud on the good days and vanishes the second you actually need it. You cannot build a life on something that abandons you every time it gets hard. Raise your minimum instead. Your minimum is the worst day you're still willing to accept. Not your best day. Anybody can perform on their best day. Your minimum is what you do when you're tired, unmotivated, sad, distracted, and no one would blame you for quitting. When your worst day gets better, your entire life moves up with it, automatically, without needing willpower, without needing a perfect mood. Think about it. If your worst workout is still 20 minutes, you never fully fall off. If your worst eating day is still not a total disaster, if your worst response to disrespect is still a boundary, people learn how to treat you. You don't need to be extraordinary every day. You need to make your floor higher. Champions aren't people with amazing ceilings. They're people with unusually high floors.
Now let me give you the 3 moves to actually raise that floor, not theory.
Moves you do this week.
Move 1. Audit what you're tolerating. For the next 24 hours, I want you to become a witness to your own life. Every time something annoys you and you let it slide, write it down. The mess you walk past, the scroll you promised you'd stop, the comment that stung that you laughed off, the task you pushed to tomorrow again. You're not fixing anything yet. That's not the point. The point is that you cannot renegotiate a contract you can't see. Right now, your tolerances are invisible to you. They've become the wallpaper of your life, so normal you don't even register them.
Writing them down drags them into the light. And I promise you, by the end of one honest day, that list is going to make you uncomfortable. Good. Discomfort is the first sign you're finally seeing the truth. Most people never do this step because it's not exciting. There's no music swelling. It's just you, a piece of paper, and the honest inventory of everything you've been quietly accepting. But this unglamorous step is the whole foundation.
Skip it, and everything else is just motivation that fades by Thursday.
Move 2. Pick one standard and make it completely non-negotiable. Not 10. 1. This is where everyone gets greedy and ruins it. They get inspired, they try to fix their entire life on Monday morning, and by Wednesday the whole thing collapses and they feel worse than before they've started. One standard. Maybe it's I don't hit snooze, where feet hit the floor when the alarm goes off.
Maybe it's the gym is not a decision I make, it's a fact about who I am, like my name.
Maybe it's I don't speak badly about myself out loud. Pick one, and here's the rule that makes it work. It never moves, not when you're tired, not when it's raining, not when you had a hard day and you deserve a break. Especially not then. Because the power was never in the size of the standard. A tiny standard held without exception will transform you faster than a huge goal you abandon in a week. The magic is in the immovability. One standard you never break teaches your brain something it hasn't believed in a long time. That your word means something again. That when you say a thing, it happens. And once your brain believes that about one thing, it starts to believe it about everything. That's how identity actually changes. Not all at once, one kept promise at a time. Move 3, and this is the one people resist the most. Cut one thing you've been tolerating out completely. Not reduce it, not manage it, remove it. A habit that numbs you. An app that eats your evenings. A person who drains something from you every single time you interact with them. Here's the uncomfortable truth about growth. You do not rise by stacking good habits on top of a rotten foundation. You've tried that. You added the morning routine, the journal, the cold shower, and it still didn't stick, because underneath it all the rot was still there, pulling you back down. You rise by subtracting what's rotting. Most of the time, growth isn't addition at all. Growth is deletion. And yes, some of what you need to cut will be uncomfortable, because some of it is people. Not everyone in your life is rooting for the highest standard version of you. Some of them are comfortable with exactly who you are right now, because who you are right now doesn't threaten who they've decided to be. When you start raising your standards, watch closely. The ones who celebrate it are your people. The ones who mock it just told you something important about themselves. You don't have to burn every bridge in a day, but you have to stop pretending that the things quietly draining you are neutral. Nothing in your life is neutral. Everything is either raising your standard or lowering it. Every habit, every hour, every person. Start being honest about which is which. Now, understand what's really on the line here, because this isn't about being more productive. This is about who you become. 5 years from now, you will be someone. That is not a question. Time is going to pass, whether you use it or waste it. The 5 years are coming either way. The only real question is whether the person waiting at the end of them is the result of your standards or the result of your excuses. Picture both of them for a second. One is the version of you who kept tolerating everything, who kept saying next week, who kept negotiating with their own alarm clock. He's not a monster. He's just a little more tired, a little more resigned, a little more convinced that this is just how his life is. That's the scary part. He doesn't hate his life. He's just made peace with this. That's the man helping words. And the other one is the version who drew one line and refused to move. Who deleted the rot and kept his word to himself until it became who he is. Both of them are real possibilities right now. In this exact moment. In the wild thing, the thing I need you to sit with is that you are choosing to do today. Not someday. Today is what you tolerate in the next 24 hours. So, here's your one job before this video ends. Don't try to remember all 3 moves. Just do the first one. Pause and name the single thing you've been tolerating the longest. The one you already thought of 3 times while I was talking. You know exactly what it is. Say it out loud. Then decide, right here, that it's over. Not managed. Over. That's the whole game. It was never motivation. It was one honest decision. Kept. That's all discipline has ever been. A promise to yourself that you refuse to break. Repeated until it becomes who you are. If this hits something really new, subscribe, because everything on this channel is built for one thing, making you the standard version of yourself, the one you already know you're supposed to be. And drop the one thing you're done tolerating in the comments. Say it so you can't take it back. Now go raise your minimum. I'll see you in the next one.